Join us by visiting cobrt.com to learn more and subscribe to our newsletter.
This is the Experience Pros Radio Show. Got an opinion or want to ask us a question? Email radio@experiencepros.com or message us on the Experience Pros Facebook page, and we'll interact with you live on the show.
Hey, welcome back to the Experience Pros Radio Show. Angel Tessie and Eric Raymer helping you get your business right. You ever struggle with making decisions? You're not alone.
You know, Eric and I have a really unique way of handling decisions around our office, and it looks a lot like rock, paper, scissors. But once people recognize the incredible impact your decisions have on your life, you will be able to see that you are in charge of your own success. How exciting is that? You have the power to make decisions that will create the fulfilling life you desire. That is the moniker from our next guest, CEO Mike Whitaker, author of the book, The Decision Maker. Truly successful people have a process, he says, for approaching decisions, and they don't leave things to luck or fate. Mike is the founder of Idea Gateway, a tech incubator, and RevTech, a Dallas-based tech accelerator. And he knows firsthand how much of a difference effective decision-making can have on an entrepreneur's success. Mike Whitaker, welcome to Experience Pros.
Thank you for having me.
Mike, let's start with this. You talk about the first step, perhaps, to making decisions properly. I'm struggling with the right verbiage. You talk about the first step is to develop a self-awareness. I am aware of the fact that I don't make great decisions all the time. How does self-awareness, because I'm aware of it, but it doesn't seem to be changing?
Well, there's two ways to think about it. One is from trial and error up to today, before the makeover, you know what you do well and what you don't do well. Like as a CEO, one of the things I do well is hire well. I tend to hire well, but the other things I don't do well in business, some people need to recognize that there's certain things I don't do well that are decision based, and then take some strategies like I talk about in my book in terms of getting other help, getting other expertise and perspectives, finding a way to contribute to the choice, but not be the only decision maker. But that's an awareness of what you don't do well, and the starting point, though, I think, is the awareness of what decisions you have in front of you that are big versus all the other decisions, because you make thousands of decisions, a week, hundreds of decisions a day, but only a few of those are big decisions. In fact, most of them aren't big, they're medium, and the book shows you the big ones actually determine your outcomes, the trajectory your life goes.
Who decides what those big ones are?
So the book takes the idea that your goals, your biggest prime goals in life, those can be business, those can be personal, those can be whatever you want them to be, but we only want a few of those. We put those way out in the front. That's like our destination on our mapping application. Put that into our phone, and we say, now I want a shortest path to get to my goals. The shortest path, and is when we drive, it's the fewest turns, it's the straightest line. Well, those are good decisions. And the idea here is you use your goals to as your navigation destination. And so your decision making makes you aware, is this getting closer to my goal or going to take me further away from my goal? And what we tend to forget in the middle of decision making, there's chaos and there's mental anguish about it and there's indecision. What we tend to forget is the bottom line is this getting me closer to my goal or further away from it?
Right. And indecision can be, that's a decision too, is to not make a decision that's going to move you towards your goal. Mike, what I tend to find when it comes to making a decision, it isn't always so easy to say, this is for my goal, this is against my goal. It's almost as if both decisions could kind of get me closer to my goal, but one might be better, but sometimes there's too many variables in there, and both, one isn't an obvious bad choice. It's almost like I have to choose between the two because both could possibly get me to where I'm going. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I write in the book about the three lifelines you have. The first one is link it to your goals, and if that's unclear, the second lifeline is on each. Let's say you have two choices, A versus B. you make a list of the consequences of A versus the consequences of B. And I tend to choose the option that has the consequences I can most live with. And if those lists do not break the tie for you, the last option is I call it decision triangulation, where I ask you to involve two other people and you're going to average everyone's input, including your own. So there's 3 points that we're going to talk about: your own instincts, then someone who loves you unconditionally that knows your situation, and the third person you involve is someone you respect but has no other ties other than you respect their opinion. And you take those pieces of input, triangulate it like a GPS coordinates, and you will have probably the best decision you could make at the time. So those 3 lifelines can get you through almost any decision.
This is good stuff.
It is good stuff. And, you know, one of the things that drew me in was the chapter in the book called When Decisions Go Bad. And at least you acknowledge that there is such a thing as mental chaos. Right? Because I mean, that's kind of what goes on in my mind when I make those bad decisions, and I have to confront those bad decisions. You at least acknowledge the fact that they are there, and there is a struggle that happens on a regular basis. Address that just a little bit, if you will, please.
Sure. Yeah, sure. Well, we often make our worst decisions when we're not in the right mindset. And people ask questions, what do successful people do differently about decisions? And after interviewing a lot of people, I realized that, well, the first thing they do is they're aware of when they should make a decision. And there's a character in my book called the Decisionator. And essentially it's you and I at our worst when we shouldn't be making decisions, like when we're hurried, when we're hungry, when we're rejected, when we're angry, when we're tired, when we're fearful. Nothing good happens when our mind isn't right. But we always make these decisions in the heat of passion, in the heat of the moment, at our worst moments. We're making major decisions. And that's where that old sleep on it phrase came from. Take a breath, reset yourself in a way. So don't be the decisionator, number one. So successful people don't make decisions when they are in a bad mindset. So that's the first type of chaos. The second type of chaos is when it blows up in your face and you're like, whoa, I shouldn't have hired that person. I shouldn't have made that deal, or shouldn't have sold that thing, or shouldn't have dated that person, shouldn't have invested in this thing. When it blows up in your face, successful people they react differently. They don't wait. The 2 things they do, I call in the book, fail fast or fix fast.
Yeah.
Failing fast is you have all the data you need, time to break up, time to stop this, time to terminate the employment. It's like you've got all the data you need. Anything further is opportunity cost. What else you could be doing that's better? And so that's failing fast. Fixing fast means changing the deal, changing the structure, this work assignment, changing the structure so that it's not just trying harder. Trying harder is a cop-out. You should have already been trying hard. So that's truly one of the ways to deal with the chaos of, this thing has just proven to me that it's been a bad decision, is fail fast or fix fast. The peace of mind that comes from cleaning it up is totally going to make you a more sound decision maker, and in business, a much better businessman.
We are talking with Mike Whitaker. He is the author of The Decision Maker, an intentional approach to living the life you want. The book is called The Decision Maker. Mike, this was good stuff. Thanks so much for being with us on Experience Pros today.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. The Decision Maker with Mike Whitaker. Folks, don't go anywhere. More positive business talk just ahead. You're listening to Angel and Eric, and this is the Experience Pros Radio Network.
America's home for positive business talk. You're listening to the Experience Pros Radio Show. Contact them on the web at experiencepros.com.